a family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter where a sinister presence influences the father into violence, and his psychic son sees horrific foreboding. I don't know what that word means, both past and present. Hey guys, so last night at my local cinema, I got to see an extended 4K edition of The Shining, and it was actually an extended cut of the movie. So there's actually scenes in this that I haven't even seen before. Like it was just, and some of the scenes I'll describe, but I'm obviously not going to spoil anything. Anyway, so this incredible horror film actually came out in 1980. Funnily enough, it's rated M, and now I've re-seen it. I kind of see why it's rated M because technically, visually, there's really nothing in it. For a movie that came out in 1980 of horror, for the elements that are in it, wow, like seriously, wow. So the duration of the movie that I saw last night, not the actual film that was brought out in 1980, they went for 2 hours and 26 minutes. But funnily enough, there mustn't have been much extended content because I feel like I actually believe this was the same. Yeah. Anyway, so if you don't know, The Shining is actually written by Stephen King, but then adapted into a movie by Stanley Kubrick. I think that's how you say his last name. One of the most fascinating and interesting things that I found about this movie, sort of as a whole, and I just think that it's kind of weird today looking back and seeing, because the reason why I'm saying here, guys, is because the cast, especially Danny and Jack, that's their names in the movie, which is so weird. So Jack Nicholson plays Jack, and Danny Lloyd actually plays Danny. And so the mum, Shelby DeVille, she plays Wendy, and which is so bizarre. But anyway, guys, I just want to talk about this. This movie is phenomenally intriguing. Now, one thing that I noticed last night more than anything about this film is the pacing of it. For a film with the duration of 2 hours and, almost 2.5 hours, I was actually quite surprised at how it really did feel slow, and I mean super, super slow pacing. But the elements of the mystery behind the slow pacing of it really, after another, kept me intrigued. And even though I've seen the film multiple times, there was still elements of that slow pacing of it that made me just really, it was just so fascinating. I remember rewatching it last night. There's a scene where where Danny and Wendy are sitting at their kitchen table, and he brings out, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but he brings out another character, and I thought to myself when I was watching it last night, like that's so creepy for its time. Like that's such a creepy element to put into a movie. Now, if you don't know, guys, Stephen King has actually written a sequel to this movie called Doctor Sleep, and it's actually based on Danny today. So it's actually based on Danny grown up, which is just amazing. That's due to release in cinema really soon. The elements of horror of this film come right at the end, but the thing that I really, really got taken into extraordinarily more than anything in this film, rewatching it, was simply the fact of the score. The bellowing, intensely deep trumpets, like the bomb, like it was just so, it was almost in your face, but it was so in your face to the point where it really matched what you were seeing on screen. And it was so incredible to see, to just hear it played out. Like, it was just like, wow, so incredibly iconic. I mean, so amazingly iconic for a movie like this. Like, pure iconic, just incredible. One of the things about this movie, about the extended scenes of this movie that I found, especially one scene, I'm not going to give it away, but there was one scene in this movie where Wendy's going through a situation. It's towards the end of the film. Wendy is going through a situation, and she comes to the top of the stairs, and at the top of the stairs, just in front of her, is a room. And the camera is panned back to a degree that you can see, that you can make out that there's an image there, but the image, what you're seeing in front of you, is like, am I actually seeing what I'm seeing in front of me? And then the camera pans back to Wendy's facial expression, and she's freaking out over what she's seeing. And the camera pans back to the room, and then it's revealed what she's actually looking at. And I tell you now, I don't know if I don't remember that scene being in the theatrical run or the DVD/Blu-ray, but seeing it for what I feel was the first time seeing the scene, I thought to myself, whoever thought of that scene has a really twisted mind. Like, I really thought that. I was like, seriously? That is just, whether that's, because I haven't read the book and I will never read the book. I'm not fussed by that. But movies are my passion, and that's why I don't read books. But seeing that and thinking to myself, if that was written in the book, if that's actually written in the book, then these two guys whoever made this film, like, literally, like, it's just extraordinarily, like, WTF moment, for, like, on the highest level imaginable. But one of the things that I found that I really gravitated to in this movie, in the most phenomenal way that really had me hooked, was Jack Nicholson, Jack's character. He played this guy, he played the role of Jack. And I don't know if that was just lazy scripting, whether they just ironically gave him his own name. I don't know, I think that's kind of weird. But if you don't know, right at the end of the movie, there's actually an iconic scene. There's a really iconic scene. I'm not going to give away what he says, but if you don't know about the iconic scene, I won't tell you the context, but I'll just tell you this part of it. He breaks a door. He breaks a door, right? A wooden door. And I won't tell you what happens after that. But that scene, photos of that have been memes for years and years and years. Like, it's so iconic what he does. It's just so fascinating to see now. That was made in 1980. Like, you got to wrap your head around how someone can do something like that and it stand the test of time in cinema. Like, really stand the test of time in cinema. Now, rewatching this movie, I actually thought that the last shot of the entire movie, and if you haven't seen it, it's a person frozen. I won't tell you who or what, but a person frozen. Now, I remember seeing that movie back in the day, and I don't know why, but I believe that was the last shot of this film. Now, re-seeing it, it's actually not. It cuts to another scene, and it makes you question the entire movie, like all of it, because like, wait, what? Wait, how is this all tied in now? But at the end of the day, you'll completely understand why. Now, guys, due to the fact there's so much trivia in this movie, I normally do movie trivia, but I'm actually going to leave this one alone. But I want to just tell you something that I heard about in the past, a long time ago, that I hope I get this right. but it was actually to do with the Jack following Wendy up the stairs backwards. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, it's a very vital part of the movie. It's where the tension really starts to build in the movie, like really heavily. So just a little tiny piece of trivia, and I just found this so fascinating. Now, it's actually been debunked by several people, and they say it's inaccurate, but at the end of the day, who knows. But according to the Guinness Book of Records, the scene, as I said, where they're walking up the stairs backwards and Jack's following her, took 127 takes, which is why you see Wendy she's just wrecked. She's drained. She's physically and emotionally totally wrecked from that scene. And I heard later on that actually scarred Wendy, the lady who plays Wendy, that actually scarred her, like literally scarred her. Like apparently she had anxiety issues after that, because I mean, you don't understand, guys. 100, if it even is close to 127 takes, that's monstrous. That is absolutely monstrous. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, guys, so apparently she was really messed up from that scene. Anyway, everyone who's been following me, I really appreciate your subscription. Seriously, thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I really value it. I seriously appreciate it so much. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell for notifications. That way, anytime I drop anything, it's yours straight away, and I really appreciate your subscription. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave a like on this movie review if you like The Shining or you like this movie review. I really value that. Leave a comments below in the section below. What did you think of The Shining? Have you seen The Shining? What did you guys think of it? I'd really appreciate your feedback. That'd be amazing. And until my next review, which is going to be awesome, I can't wait to drop that for you guys. This is Superman Steve.